Phase Zero Season 3, Episode 34 starts right now. I'm Brandon Davis, joined today by Jamie Jirac.
Hello, everybody.
Jenna Anderson.
Hey, everybody.
Aaron Perrine.
Big show today, BD.
Big old show. You know how we like to do it on Phase Zero. Big show today. Ahsoka's out. Everybody watch Ahsoka? Did you guys watch Ahsoka?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's pretty good. I liked it.
Yeah.
I'm
also crushing through Rebels. So.
Ahsoka spoilers because this is a Marvel show. But hold on, wait. Can we get Richard's thoughts on Ahsoka real quick?
Yeah.
10 out of 10. Loved it.
He said 10 out of 10 loved it?
Yes.
All right. Hey, Richard is pleased. Nova is out there barking. I don't know if you guys can hear her, but clearly Nova loved Ahsoka as well. Today's show, we're going to talk about Thor 5. Some changes to the Disney Plus releases. We won. Thunderbolts updates. 2 new specials coming to Disney Plus. Characters we haven't seen in the MCU since their one-off debuts that are hard to believe actually exist. And Rogers the Musical, because I got to see that, so that was cool. Let's start with Thor 5, though. All the rumors this week is that Thor 5 is in development. There's a couple quotes we got to have here, and we're going to have a question about it. A couple questions about this. Taika Waititi, in Thor Love and Thunder, the official movie special book. That's a title. He said, what is left to do to him? It's got to be something that feels like it's carrying on with the evolution of the character, but still in a very fun way and still giving him things to come up against that feel like they're building on the obstacles that he has to overcome. I don't think we can have a villain that's weaker than Hela. I feel like we need to step up from there and add a villain that's somehow more formidable. And Chris Hemsworth said to EW before Extraction 2, this isn't a new quote, but I just thought it's relevant. I've got to be careful how I word that because I have no idea what's happening in the next phase when asked about Thor 5. There's always conversations like with Extraction before anything is official. People are throwing around ideas, but officially, I don't know. And then my time to shine on Twitter, who has gotten quite a few things right, or X, whatever the hell you want to call it, said Thor 5 is indeed in development with Taika Waititi. Now, I'm taking this as what Hemsworth said. Everybody's always talking about everything. Is Thor 5 actually in development? Are they like putting stuff together yet? Obviously not right now with everybody on strike. But I, first of all, don't think there's real movement on Thor 5 yet. Anybody think about got thoughts on this, guys?
Because I remember when Love and Thunder came out and Taika was quoted as saying that even when it said Thor will return at the end of the movie, even he was surprised by that. So I don't know when this quote was from. I don't know at what point he said this, but I'm taking it with a massive grain of salt. Bob Iger said like a couple months ago that they are going to be kind of less likely to do these like 4th and 5th and whatever movies because they have so many other franchises that have barely even gotten sequels. So I don't know. As someone who disliked Love and Thunder and still feels very betrayed by it, if it happens, I'll be curious, but I don't know if it's even going to happen at this point.
Today in studios can't make up their minds. That also coincided with Bob Iger greenlighting freaking Frozen 3, Toy Story a Million, and a Zootopia sequel that no one needs. So there's precedent for if it's popular and people like seeing Chris Hemsworth, and people obviously do. Extraction's back in the Netflix top 10 this week, that you're probably going to see him. I just don't know if you're going to need like a Thor 5 to do that, you know?
First of all, I'd like to say Frozen 3 forever. Can't wait. Got my honor right here, ready to go. The thing that's funny to me about this is Taika saying, like, what is there to do with him? And, like, my thing is, I don't care about Thor 5. I just need Hercules. There is something to do. You set it up in your post-credit scene. You totally set up a whole another movie. But I agree. I don't, like, need it now. I wait a while. No one's clamoring for this. And should it be Taika? I don't think so. I think he's over it. I think people are over him doing it. He's got other things to do that people will be more excited about. Get some fresh blood in there and let's see what happens. But not now. Give it a few years, please.
This quote definitely does. The quote from the book from Taika just seems like one of those, like, somebody asked him, what are you doing with Thor 5? Are you going to do it? And he just spitballed a bunch of stuff and didn't actually have any plans. And it doesn't seem, I think you summarized it perfectly. He does seem over it. Watching that press tour for Thor Love and Thunder. Now, I think maybe, tinfoil hat, no inside information, but I think the Marvel machine might have chopped up Taika's movie a little bit more than he wanted it to. Maybe not. Maybe he just realized that this was kind of a dud. But either way, it seemed like Taika was over it, especially in that clip where he was like kind of dogging on the VFX of his own movie and all that stuff. It was just a weird vibe throughout that one that seemed different from the Ragnarok press tour. Now, also at the same time, this is a very "what have you done for me lately" attitude that everybody has here. It's like Les Miles at LSU. Richard, that's for you. Somebody goes and wins you a national championship just because they don't have a winning record 2 years later after everybody graduated. Does that mean they can't get you back there? I don't know. Everybody forgets Thor Ragnarok. I'm not even as high on Thor Ragnarok as everybody else is, and I'm not as low on Thor Love and Thunder as most other people are. I don't think it's very good, but I don't think it's the worst movie I've ever seen in my life. But Thor Ragnarok, I think, is very good, but I don't think it's the best MCU movie by any means. At least that's me. That's my tastes. But Taika made Thor Ragnarok, and everybody forgets so quickly. Iron Man 2 exists. You know, Jon Favreau made Iron Man 2, and then he went on and did The Mandalorian. So, you know, I think that these things kind of ebb and flow. I don't know. One strike for me is not enough to say you shouldn't do this movie. Is there somebody who might make a really good Thor movie? Personally, bring Kenneth Branagh back. I love Shakespearean Thor. I'm here for it. But that probably is also just me.
I will say, I also feel like it's a Chris Hemsworth of it all because like he had that health revelation recently that kind of like affected how he's been approaching his career. He worked with George Miller on Furiosa. So it's like, it seems like in the quotes that he's been giving, even just beyond the Extraction quote that we read, he has like a different outlook on his career. And it's like, not saying that he would never come back and play Thor again, but I think it has to justify him coming back. And I don't know if Thor 5 with Taika, depending on whatever they have planning, would be enough.
I actually want to correct myself, by the way. I don't know if I think I was referring to Coach O more than I was referring to Les Miles
It could be
at
either of
LSU.
them.
What's that?
I love you, Richard. It could be either of them.
I guess it happened to both of them, huh?
It did.
Yeah. No daggers.
You're just saying words.
Jenna and I have no idea what
home
you're talking
driving
about.
who are really excited, and Jenna and Jamie are like, I guess.
Somebody in Baton Rouge is listening to Phase Zero right now, like, oh yeah, go Phase Zero, yeah. All right. Let's so yeah, I think we all weigh in on whether or not we want Taika to direct. I don't care personally. I think somebody could do a job that seems like they'll care more than he does, but I also recognize Taika made a great Thor movie and a not so great Thor movie, which isn't enough for me to say don't come back. But the attitude needs to change. That press tour was enough to discourage me.
I feel like he has so many projects in the works or that he's attached to that like even if he puts some of those aside, the purely the logistics of when he would get to make Thor 5 feels so far away. Mm-hmm. So if they have to bring in a new person to be able to make it happen, then I'm all for it. But if it does end up being him and it ends up being a really good story, then sure.
I think somebody like Taika who has that sort of relationship and friendship with Chris Hemsworth and his family is really the motivating factor for Chris Hemsworth. I think the big reason he wanted to do Thor 4 in the first place because he had so much fun working with Taika on Thor Ragnarok. But I guess we'll see.
I mean, isn't Taika supposed to be making a Star Wars? Like, there's a lot of stuff on that dance card.
Everybody's making a Star Wars.
Everybody's making a Star Wars.
Ryan Johnson swears he's still making 3 Star Wars movies.
Yeah,
I want him to, but
James Mangold's making Star Wars. Charmaine Obaid-Chinoy's making Star Wars. That one actually sounds, that's pretty cool. That's one with Ray in it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who was the third person? Who was the third director?
Filoni.
Oh, Dave Filoni.
Yeah.
Dave Filoni is actually making Star Wars. So.
We can count on that one.
Yes.
That one is true.
Yeah.
That one we know to be true. All right. There's no speaking of this. Let's just go with it. I was looking for a transition. It wasn't there.
Oh, some big, exciting news, people. Physical media is coming.
Yeah.
WandaVision, Loki, The Mandalorian Season 1, and The Mandalorian Season 2 are getting releases by Disney+. Steelbook pre-orders start August 28th. Loki is coming out September 26th. They're rolling that out before, for Season 2. And then WandaVision drops November 28th. Happy Thanksgiving to me.
Can I be a spoiled little brat here real quick?
God, what?
Can I be so spoiled? First of all, huge win. I'm thrilled for this. But can I be so spoiled? My MCU collection is not Steelbooks.
Oh, yeah.
I need this is a huge win. I'm grateful. Kevin, look at me. I need just regular 4K. I know you can't charge me $60 for regular 4K. You need me to pay extra for the steel and the steelbook. I get it. Give me that regular
But
4K.
think of it this way, like these are TV. Like just think of it like they're not going to be the
Don't give them me
same.
out.
Like, but like movies, like I have a lot of TV. They're not behind me; they're over here because all
Right.
TVs are different casing. That's just what TV is.
That's
So
fair.
I mean, no matter what, a TV is not going to look like one of these. That's just like even with 6 to 8 9 episodes. So think of it that way. If it helps your greedy little brain who wants everything that we.
I get it.
Honestly,
Never
my
enough.
thing, like I made a TikTok about this where I was literally just screaming at the camera. I like turned into the guy from Mad Money where I was just like losing my mind.
Bye.
Yeah. I'm like, I need everybody who collects movies to get these because that this is like a kind of a soft launch. They're figuring out if it's going to be successful before they release any other. Somebody asked me, like, why do you think they did Loki before Falcon and the Winter Soldier? Why aren't they going in order? Well, it's very obvious. One, Loki was more popular, and two, Loki season 2 is coming out. It just makes sense. Obviously, WandaVision was the choice. People have been clamoring for WandaVision for so long. Mando makes sense, but like for me, like I would kill to have Obi-Wan Kenobi. I would die for that. So like, I'm like ready. I'm doing it. I'm buying it. I'm helping this happen so that we get more because I want all of it. Are you guys? What are you doing? Are you going out and buying these or not?
Oh yes,
1,000%. Yeah.
yes. I'd be such a fraud if I didn't.
After we spent literal years like
Yes.
evangelizing for this,
Oh
I
my
got
gosh.
Instagram DMs from listeners who were like, I heard this news and immediately thought of all of you guys, which was very sweet. I'm just so happy because I know people in my life who don't have a Disney Plus subscription and like don't have the technology to even stream it, and they have wanted to watch these shows, and now they have the opportunity to watch these shows. I will say, to BD's point about the steelbooks, I view it in the way that like certain comic companies, like DC in particular, will put out a hardcover of a trade paperback before they put out the physical trade paperback, because they know if you want to buy it right away, you might buy the slightly fancier version. So I feel like that's the case with the steelbooks, and I agree with Jamie. It'll look fine. I'm just happy to be getting these at all, and I need people to buy them because I need She-Hulk to be released at some point in time. So I just hope that these are very, very successful.
I think there's two things I wanted to add. One was that there was something about a Falcon and Winter Soldier, like a leak or something somewhere, that is coming. But my bet is that's coming closer to Cap 4. I think that's like just like Loki season 2. I think it makes sense they're going to hold that until closer to Cap 4. That's my tinfoil hat. I think the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, which released between these two shows, is coming, but later.
I also have a theory with that because I think that, like, I remember way back when the shows were first in development, it was a Scarlet Witch show and a Loki show were like the first two shows that were announced to be in development. And then I think there was like a Falcon Winter Soldier show after that. So it might just be a thing of like whose contracts and what like contracts were signed first are the DVDs that are getting put out first. I don't know.
That's very possible.
I'm starting to wonder. This was the other thing. I'm starting to wonder because Disney Plus still losing money. As projected, as expected, it's still bleeding hundreds of millions of dollars from Disney, despite lots of subscribers. I'm real curious, and this is a huge leap. This is big tinfoil hat stuff, but it's obviously they're going to get money from this. This is a big opportunity to make money on the home release. Cutting out the home release stage of theatrical releases and streaming releases eats into the revenue hugely. So I'm really starting to wonder if physical media is going to make a comeback because of the business of it all. And I'm also wondering if broadcast is going to make a comeback because Ahsoka released last night, 9 p.m. Eastern time. Finally felt like an event in the U.S. I know Europe had all the other stuff all the time. You guys got it at a decent hour. I don't know, at lunch or whatever time it was. You weirdos, you want to watch stuff on your lunch? Who does that? Let us have it. You can watch it when you wake up, okay? That's where we're at now on Ahsoka anyway, not on Loki. But I'm real curious. They're starting to release Miss Marvel on ABC. They're airing it on broadcast. That's a lot of ad money, possibly. I don't know how many people are watching it. But those broadcasts, that ad money from the broadcast, they're going to start to look at it and say, how much are we making on if we release this and 4 million people watch it, 17 million people watch it, whatever it is? What can we get in ad revenue? Maybe they'll start broadcasting it once at the same time it goes on Disney Plus, just to get those commercials for the people who aren't subscribed. I don't know. It's going to be interesting. But then, of course, that loses subscribers. So which one is going to make them more money? I don't know. But I'm really curious how the release models are going to continue to shift because the streaming wars are costing these companies money. and there is no doubt they're going to change. And the fact that we are getting these physical media releases shows they're open to making more money, and they're also kind of listening to what people want. So we'll see.
I think it's funny that like the circle we've come to with streaming, where it's like it was supposed to take like erase cable, and now they're just like, oh, it's been about 10 years, we're circling it back.
I'm
Because
not a fan of the streaming era. I'm just gonna say it. I'm not a fan. I don't like. I miss event television. I miss broadcast. I miss like running home on Sunday night to watch The Walking Dead, Game of Thrones. I miss that. I miss when things were all on at the same time. I'm not. I've never been a binger. I binged like Daredevil and Jessica Jones and all that, but I don't know, man. I miss. Maybe I'm just getting old and I'm old school. But I'm not a huge fan of the streaming era. It's convenient. That's nice, but I like physical media and I like watching stuff with other people.
I really hope that Ahsoka changes the game for Disney Plus in terms of releases for all their future stuff. Because exactly what you said, event TV. It's always driven me crazy that none of the Marvel shows have felt like that, because we're like, it's easier for me at midnight, I'm up, but people at 3 a.m. that's a stretch.
Mhm.
And 6 and 9 is perfect. That's when Game of Thrones would drop. Like that is 6 and 9 is the perfect time.
That Sunday night
And
sweet spot that HBO would own and what an AMC owned for a while with Walking Dead was so nice. Now Ahsoka's on it on Tuesday nights. I wish Loki was dropping on. We're gonna have to move Phase Zero back to Fridays, I think. But could you imagine if Loki was dropping at 9 p.m. Eastern time? We'd be doing the show at night.
they could still change it.
Yeah, there's still time.
Maybe. We'll see. We'll see if Jim Viscardi's like, all right, fine, do the night show. Do the night show. The graveyard shift, Phase Zero. All right, what else we got here?
So we got Thunderbolts updates from David Harbour and Jake Schreier. Comic Book Nation's Matt Aguilar talked to them this week about what we can expect from the big team-up movie to end Phase 5. At least I think that's still the plan. Who knows what the plan is? So let's see here. The director said to Matt, yeah, I wouldn't look at this as a sequel at all, and we don't talk about it that way, and we've never really kind of approached it that way in any of the conversations we've had with Kevin or Brian and working on it. I think there's a story to be told about a group of characters who can relate to each other in a certain way or have gone through certain things, and we're going to get into that. That is responding to certain speculation that Thunderbolts is basically a Black Widow sequel. Our buddy Andy Park, come back on the show, joked about that on Instagram and immediately had to change. These people freaked out. And then David Harbour talked to Josh Horowitz of the Happy, Sad, Confused podcast about, what's coming up with Thunderbolts. And he's like, these Marvel writers are writing incredible epic stories, and they're letting the Red Guardian do stuff that he's never done before. That relationship with Yelena, we get to go into that more, and it's funny and satisfying in a really emotional way. And thank you, David Harbour, for doing all these interviews before the strike so that we can know anything about this movie. This man has said so much more about that movie probably than anybody else. So thank you, David Harbour. Looking forward to Stranger
Yeah, to
Things.
promote that Gran Turismo.
Yep.
Oh, yes. Based on a true story.
Honestly, I'm going to be honest. Pretty good movie. I'm not going to lie. Pretty good movie.
As someone who was familiar with the story before they made the movie, seeing all of your responses to it is very funny, where everybody's like, what the heck is this? And I was like, oh. Okay.
Wait, have you seen the movie?
I have not seen the movie now.
I was not familiar with the story.
Oh, my God.
And I was like, I'm not going to spoil anything, but I was like, wait a second. Did that just, and he's racing again? What? Yeah, that was crazy. Knowing it was a true. Anyway, back to Thunderbolts. I can talk about Gran Turismo though. No, but back to Thunderbolts. What do we got here? I don't know.
So
sounds cool.
I'm just worried. Two things. The Gran Turismo trailer is like my sleep paralysis demon at this point. I've seen that so many times. It has become like a copy pasta in my household. But also, I'm like David Harbour's comments and just my own feelings about this movie. I'm really worried Red Guardian's going to die because it just sounds very emotional, very funny, very satisfying. It's like, oh, he's going to have like the big hero's death. I would be shocked if that doesn't happen at this point.
We don't have to kill somebody every time, Marvel. Like I've said it before. I like when I get hurt. I like when my favorites die. I like to feel pain. But it's like when you're releasing this much stuff and then someone dying every time, it's like you're making me numb.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's like when I was a kid, my mom worked for a vet. So we just kept a rotating of dead pets, and that's what it's starting to feel like. Like just getting numb to things that should really affect me more than they are.
I just don't want any fake deaths.
Aaron, I really upset Aaron with that story.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
seriously.
I just don't want fake outs. If you're
Yeah.
gonna kill a character,
Mhm.
leave them dead. Even if it's Maria Hill, I'm so sorry. Just don't kill him and bring him back. Just kill him. I think characters are gonna die in Thunderbolts. I think I don't know. I could see Red Guardian going. I could see Red Guardian being a big heart to that movie. And David Arbor seems pretty clear about wanting to do all kinds of new stuff too, because he's getting out of Stranger Things soon. So we'll see. We'll see. I think that I'm picturing this as almost Marvel Suicide Squad,
Oh, 1,000%. Yeah.
but we'll see if it shapes up to be that. I hope it's got. I'm begging for that movie to be good. You think Ghost is still in it? Who was apparently in Avengers Endgame?
Yeah.
I need her to be in it. I need more closure with her and just more story with her. So if she's not in it, I get it. But it would also be really weird to have her on the concept art and at D23 and then just like, nope, she's not in the movie at all.
Yeah. Hannah John came. She did the whole press tour too, didn't she? Yeah. At D23.
Pete
Well.
Davidson's seat of honor at the Suicide Squad party.
I do think it's funny to say this isn't a sequel when this is like a sequel to everything. This is like the one project that's actually a sequel to everything in the multiverse saga.
Yeah.
Like it really to everything. Black Widow, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Falcon Winter Soldier.
Wakanda forever, technically.
Yeah, Wakanda for everything. Everything. Man. Any Hooser. All right.
So we are getting new Marvel Studios assembled specials very soon. A Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 special will drop on September 13th, and a Secret Invasion special will drop on September 20th. And then also within all of the news of this week, TV Line confirmed that Echo is still set to debut on November 29th. There was a little bit of confusion because when Disney did their latest earnings call and they had like a whole slideshow thing and a whole chart of upcoming releases, Echo was not on there and people started panicking. But it sounds like it's still November 29th. It's still seemingly the binge model, which I know we voiced our opinions on. But how do we feel about all of these updates?
For Echo, it's going to be a bummer if the strike's still going on, just because it's kind of like how I've been feeling about Blue Beetle, where, you know, this kind of up and coming actor isn't going to get their chance to like really promote their show and experience like getting to star in a project like this, and that really bums me out. I feel like if this date is kept and there's still a strike, the show is going to get it plus the binge. The show's going to get buried, and that really bums me out. In terms of the Marvel Studios Assemble, sometimes I forget to watch those. I need to one day have like a whole day where I just go and watch them all, because it's been a long time since I've watched one of those.
I'm with you. I think they're really cool. I watched a few of them early on, but I haven't watched the recent Marvel Studios Assembled. I want to. I find them interesting every time I watch them, but I haven't checked them out. I think I definitely watched Shang-Chi. I watched Black Widow. I watched WandaVision and Loki and stuff, but I don't know if I've watched anything since 2021 on the assembled front. I think I watched Werewolf by Night as well, but I don't remember. I know I haven't watched very many though. There's many more I haven't watched than I have. On the Echo front, yeah, it'll suck if they can't promote it. I have a friend I was talking on the phone with somebody yesterday, a friend who's friends with the person who got cast as a certain live action Star Wars character. We saw them as a hologram in Ahsoka, and he's not even allowed to go out and talk about it. Like, that's a big deal. That's a big break for an actor, but they can't even go talk about it. So, you know, that'll be a bummer if we can't get the actors talking about Echo and the project they've all worked hard on. But I also think we need them to talk about it because Echo needs support.
Yeah.
People forget Echo exists. Like, people aren't going to just give us physical media on that one day one. I'll go buy it, whatever. Mm-hmm. And more people probably watch it. People find it on the shelf at Best Buy before they even open Disney Plus to find it.
When everybody's been talking about like the delaying it till like they can do their tours, but like you can't, like we've already gotten stuff pushed back so much that like just the structural, like whatever, if we're ever going to get where everything is going, some of the stuff just needs to come out. Like some of it's got to just come out. I don't know. And I am annoyed already that we might not get a Marvel's press tour either. Mm-hmm. Like we might do triple win. We might not get Loki, the Marvels, or Echo to end the year the way it's looking right now, which is great. Like just really bugs me because I'm like, the press tours, these things would be so fun. Mm-hmm. Like
I'm hoping
some of the best stuff that comes out.
Some of these studios are really starting to feel it. I've been hearing like ways that's contracts and things like that are starting to really affect these studios. And hopefully that means they're going to come back to the table and say, all right, we need to talk. We got to talk. So we'll see.
I need more celebrities lying to Brandon Davis's face.
Yeah, you'd be surprised. We're going to take a quick break here. In 1 minute, we're going to talk about MCU characters who made debuts, and we're kind of wondering if we'll ever see them again. And Rogers the Musical. And then we have a birthday in the house, Applebee's. We'll see you there. Welcome back to Phase Zero, where we're about to uncover the mysteries of mysteries we might never uncover. There's a whole, it just sounded cool. There's a whole bunch of new characters in the MCU, and I sent a tweet about this, and it got me thinking, and I was like, there's not a lot of news, so we need something to talk about. So here we are. There have been several characters introduced to the MCU in post-credit scenes at the very last minute, in the bottom of the ninth of some of these Disney Plus shows. And like in the past, we used to know, all right, we're going to see this character again. And now some of these characters, I'm genuinely like, are we ever going to see them again? Is this actor ever going to play this part again, actually? And that the one I feel the most strongly about that is Harry Styles as Eros.
Mm-hmm.
Are we ever going to see Harry Styles in the MCU again after debuting in Eternals 2 years ago and 13 projects ago?
I don't think so, honestly. That man is only getting busier. He was just on a tour that was the longest running tour at this point of all time. And I don't know how his acting career is going to progress at this point, but I don't see him coming back unless it really, really justifies it. Also, because he's probably going to be very expensive if they do have him come back. So
that's the thing for Harry Styles. It just has to be for fun. That dude's got more money than probably anybody else in the MCU. He ain't doing it for money. There's no way. And to do it for money, just on principle, because he has an agent and he's not speaking for himself, it'll cost so damn much, like you just said. I don't know if we're ever going to see Harry Styles again.
This really bums me out because back in the day when somebody showed up in a post-credit scene, that was the announcement. That was served as the official announcement for their project, and that was really cool and really exciting. And I remember in the earlier days before this was my job and I was more of a casual fan, I remember being with my friends who were so into the comics at the time, who would just lose their minds knowing that their faves were coming to the screen, and it was so exciting to see. And now it's like a bummer. And the most recent thing is the legendary Star-Lord will return. There was a point where that would have been a confirmation that Chris Pratt was getting his own solo movie, and now it's okay, will he return? I whatever. And it just it really the first time I saw Brett as Hercules, I literally screamed, and then it wore off, and I was like, oh, maybe not though. Maybe I just got to see him looking shirtless this one time, and I don't know. It's just it bums me out because that used to be the point of the post-credit scenes, and now the point of them is what, to have a cameo by somebody that maybe we'll never see again, and it's just they've lost the thread of what those were supposed to be about.
I agree. Aaron, you think we'll ever see Harry Styles again?
I think so, but maybe it's not going to be Eternals 2. I don't know, because Honestly, the funniest part is exactly what's going on right now is why they probably have to, because in the past, before media was omnipresent, you could introduce something and then everybody would actually not know about it, and you could just act like it never happened. Like you could poochie things off into the ether without any repercussion. But because there's so much media pressure and fan pressure on everything, you kind of have to at least have a second where Arishem or Harry Styles or whatever would have to reappear in some way. There's one person.
Did they
on this
even
list.
do that in phase 1, 2, and 3 though?
What?
Like, was there anything they teased in, like, because like even go back as far as phase 1, really, maybe phase 2, before the days of the comicbook.coms and the Screen Rants and the Colliders and the Phase Zero podcasts and the Heavy Spoilers YouTube channels and the New Rock Stars. Before there was such detailed analysis of literally everything, they did still pay off all these teases from credit scenes and stuff.
I mean, the very first Iron Man movie is Nick Fury in the past.
Right.
And
then
that's
it's Thor's
going on
hammer.
again.
Yes, but also there's like, we talked to Russell about the Infinity Gauntlet being in Thor and them having to scramble to like.
Okay, that's
do
true.
that.
You make a good point.
Like,
You make a good point.
Yeah.
I mean, there's all sorts of weird stuff. Like, I mean, isn't Nathan Fillion supposed to be a character that's going to be in?
Well,
something
that
later?
was a
Oh, it's a deleted scene.
Yeah.
It was a poster that never made it into the movie.
Yeah, I mean, but it's like I don't care. I don't know. I don't care. It just, I think that you're gonna see Clea again in a rumor that we are dancing around. That's probably what we should be talking about.
Oh yeah, Doctor Strange 3. The rumor online is that Doctor Strange 3 is happening and it's before Kang Dynasty.
Yes, and that it's like time runs out basically, which I am like, what? I am intrigued.
Like, how?
Yeah.
I'm intrigued. Our buddy or my friend of the podcast, PLC Culture, joked around that the Fantastic Four were boring on Twitter and then got dragged for it. And I'm like, at the rate we're going right now, it makes more sense with a casual audience who has not really had a Fantastic Four to lean on to attach it to Benedict Cumberbatch and Charlize than to just introduce a random Reed Richards that we don't know who it is yet.
Well,
that
could be you could be honest in there, because I mean, we had the Captain Marvel movie come in at the last minute right before Endgame, and then she bailed everybody out in Endgame. And I'm not gonna lie, I think that was kind of convenient for storytelling, and I thought it was kind of weird that like she didn't exist until she existed, but they gave her the introduction, and then all of a sudden she came in at like bottom of the ninth reference again and saved everybody in Endgame, and it was fine, it worked. But it would be the same thing with Fantastic Four. They get a movie right before Kang Dynasty, and then they're gonna be, well, I don't know. Maybe they'll be in Kang Dynasty from the jump, but we'll see. We'll see.
In the comments, I see people talking about like this other thing that's going on with like they're talking like rebooting everything or whatever. And I'm like, do you understand how far in the future that is?
Mm-hmm.
Like the Earth might not exist, baby. We might not get there, y'all. I endured an earthquake and a hurricane this weekend in LA. We might not make it that far. You might want to start enjoying stuff that's going on right now. Like
there might be like a kind of not a reboot, but I think things might look different after Secret Wars.
I think so too.
I was going to say, as a comic reader, reboot can mean a wildly different array of things. It can mean the new 52, or it can just mean things look a little different. And I see, when I heard the reboot rumor, I immediately went to like, oh, that's going to be the way to like make mutants exist if they don't already exist at that point. But I didn't put that much stock into it. I don't know. I think, to Aaron's point, Clea is the character that I see out of this list, because like we have a list: Clea, Hercules, Jake Lockley, Eros, Scar. I feel like Clea is realistically the one that we're going to see the soonest. Everyone else on that list, I have absolutely no idea.
Oh, I think you see Scar. There's too much smoke. How long we've been battling the World War Hulk rumors? It's been a year. That's the one I want to see at
least.
At least. Like I was still in my pajamas hosting the show from another house when we were talking about World War Hulk the first time. Come on.
When I think about the Hulk and now I feel like that quote, they massacred my boy. Mm-hmm. I'm just tired of Smart Hulk. Like I want Raging Hulk. Like I'll watch the Incredible Hulk, and it's better than any Hulk content. Not She-Hulk, but like Hulk, Bruce Banner. I can't stand Professor Hulk anymore. I want a scary Hulk, man. That character used to scare me as a kid. I want a scary Hulk, man, chasing Black Widow through the damn Quinn, whatever the helicarrier and stuff, and breaking everything. Now Hulk was great. Scar's haircut, we never saw that again. That's fine. I think of all these: Clea, Hercules, Jake Lockley, Eros, and Scar. I think we'll see Clea again. I think we'll see Jake Lockley, obviously. I have no like, but the thing is, who knows?
Yeah.
My gosh, there's Hercules. I honestly, the one I want to see the most is Hercules.
As someone who hasn't really seen a ton of Ted Lasso, I feel like that's a big part of this whole thing. Is
Yeah.
if you've seen all of it and you love him, like that's where it's
I
coming
mean, he's
from.
here, he's there, he's everywhere.
Yeah. I'm
Also-
not out of the minority too.
Yeah, me too. I also would maybe throw Dane Whitman onto this list because it's like he got the sword, and then
Jon Snow.
we have no clue. He doesn't even have any clue as to where that story is going to be developed.
You know what's going to be crazy? Like 5-6 years from now, when we're old and gray and still hosting Phase Zero, and Kevin Feige pulls it off. Kevin Feige pulled it off. They all actually had a story that mattered and all intertwined, and it built to something. And yeah, I personally have a hard time seeing it right now. I have a hard time seeing how this is all going to connect and come together.
I was going to
Maybe.
joke that Kevin's going to hear this segment and then throw all of these characters we just mentioned into a scene
one
together
thing?
just to
Yeah.
like spite us.
We also
Why
heard
not?
Blade's voice,
Yeah.
but
That's
that movie's
true.
never happening. The
Don't
first
speak
Blade
that into the
turned
universe.
25.
I mean,
Don't break
somewhere
Jamie's heart.
Adam Barhart just had like tremors somewhere because you said that.
Yeah.
You know what? Are we really going crazy with this?
What are
whole
we going to
Olympic-
see first? Hold on a second. What I want to here. What do you think we're going to see first? James Gunn's Batman in live action or Blade? Which one is going to be on screen first?
Batman.
Yeah, I think so too.
Isn't that 2025?
It doesn't have like the Batman is 2025. Brave and the Bold does not have a release date, and he said with the strikes
my
and stuff,
goodness,
they're not
y'all
even
are crazy.
casting yet.
Come on.
But I still believe that would happen before. Honestly,
Fambo.
we will see him
this
on
slate?
screen.
What's on this slate for 2024 for DC? What's on this slate?
Superman
Joker
Legacy.
2.
It's
Joker 2
not
is
next
it's
year.
Oh yeah, that's
It's
2025.
2025.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
What
think
are
we're
we
gonna-
doing?
watch this Blade movie. I swear, man, Mahershala is gonna get wheeled out to the damn set by the time they make this thing.
It's insane. Oh my goodness. I'm like, there's so much stuff. Poor James Gunn isn't even through the backlog yet. He's not even through the stuff he has to put out to get to his stuff yet.
He just said 2 days ago they haven't even started casting Batman, and I'm sitting here like, I still bet we see him.
Honestly, though, yeah.
Blade, the first Blade, which turned 25 2 days ago, is going to turn 30. And we're going to be celebrating that at the same time we're celebrating the release of Blade.
Oh my goodness.
No, I'm just being a hater. I don't know when we're going to see Blade. I don't know when we're going to see this movie. I'm getting tired of this organization. It's frustrating me. But one thing that I'm not tired of, I liked it more in person than I did in the Hawkeye post-credit scene. Rogers the musical. And I only didn't like it in the Hawkeye post-credit scene because I wanted a meaningful post-credit scene to set something up. But now it turns out even post-credit scenes that set something up don't set anything up, as we just discussed. So whatever.
This is what we need. More of this stuff. If it's all that setting up is nonsense, I don't know which way we're pointing. Give us this. I can't believe BD got to see Rogers the musical before me. I'm probably never going to see the whole thing. And it makes me really mad at you because you were a hater and it was the best thing that happened to me that year. So just know that I resent you a little bit.
Wow. You listen, you live like 30 minutes away from this. So
a little longer than that.
Well, yeah, that's true. It's like a mile per 30 or 30 minutes per mile where you guys live. So my goodness. But yeah, I got to go see Rogers the musical, and Jamie hates me for it, and that's fair. It's honestly really good. It's really, really good. You can see a video of it on the Phase Zero channel. And there's plenty of other YouTube channels that have it up already as well. Probably also better quality. I'll shout out Extraordinary Adventures for one of them. I really enjoy Peter Serretta from who was at Slash Film for a long time. But yeah, it goes through. It starts at Cap the First Avenger. I'm gonna spoil a few things here. So if you don't want Rogers the musical spoilers, basically if you've watched the MCU, you know it. But there's one twist at the end I want to talk about. So it starts at Cap the First Avenger, it goes through a bit of the Winter Soldier. It goes through like a thing where the backdrop is changing quite a bit. Let's see if I could find it here. Oh, the transformation's hilarious because the actor is not exactly Chris Evans in Captain America shape. And he's also not the little Twinkie body that he had in the beginning of First Avenger either. So when he goes into the transformation thing, he comes out just in a slightly tighter shirt. And that's kind of what I guess the Imagineers came up with. See, same guy, as you can see. But there's a bit where it starts going through movies. It goes through the Winter Soldier. It references DC. Oh, this is when, the end of the first Avenger. He's talking to Peggy on the phone. All real sweet, tearjerker. But the interesting thing here that I want to get to, and I even think I'll play some audio here. Let's see. Oh, I can't unmute this. So at the end of the play, instead of Steve Rogers, old man Steve Rogers, coming to sit with Sam Wilson, Steve Rogers in like a Winter Soldier jacket goes and sees his old self, like from the end of Endgame. Why this is interesting is because this is supposed to be what the MCU thinks happened. Like Ant-Man is in the Battle of New York in the Avengers recap in Save the City, the song Save the City, as you saw in Hawkeye's credit scene and the scene when he took his kids there. But so this is like the, I guess, theoretical, historical, whatever, one of the theories about what happened to Steve in MCU history. And it's supposed to be playing for MCU canon, basically. And it ends with Steve talking to Steve and then telling him to go live in the past with Peggy, basically. And then he goes and does all this, and he goes and gets his dance and all that. So, tinfoil hat, does the MCU know, or do some of them believe that Steve went through time to go live with Peggy Carter in the past? Listen, this is the stuff we have to talk about right now. I need you guys to indulge me on this, okay?
So what you're saying is because he ends up with Peggy at the end of this musical, it means that people know that's what happened to him. But then why are they saying that he's on the moon?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think there's probably so many theories about him.
But this also brings up, because we've talked about this for years, the idea that like it's not, Old Man Cap being at the end is not consistent with the rules of Endgame anyway.
Yeah.
Unless he hid in the house the entire 70 years and never left the house. It doesn't really work. We have to kind of loosey-goosey our brains on this one.
Mhm.
So I think that diving deeper into this is like, I don't know if this, in my mind, this is not the same show that they went and saw in Hawkeye, because that's just opens too many doors.
To go real Imagineer galaxy brain, technically, Avengers Campus is not the same Earth as the MCU Earth. It's another Earth entirely, where Endgame and Infinity War never happened. They actually stopped Thanos, I believe, is the lore that R. Cameron Bonamalo got from the Imagineer who helped design Avengers Campus. So their weird version of Rogers the Musical could have logical inconsistencies that could be explained away by it being a counter universe. Also, Kang sent Old Man Cap to give Stam the shield so that Kang Dynasty can happen. Thank you.
I agree with Jamie of just like thinking about the logistics of this, and the timey-wiminess of this just breaks my brain. So I'm not even going to bother. It's like, I don't know. At this point.
Listen, I'm with you guys. I was just trying to find something to drum up and get theoretical on here.
It is interesting, though. I will give you that. Yeah.
I have a suggestion. Jim, if you're listening, why don't you send me to Disney so that I can see the whole show in person, and then I'll have a better understanding of how to answer this question.
You have 7 days.
Oh,
7 days to get there before this play stops.
Jamie, if we leave right now, we get there at like 4 p.m.
yeah.
I mean, yeah, okay. Who's paying for it?
I'll be honest. It was so. I went on Thursday. I brought my mom out there, and we went to go see Ahsoka, and it was so empty. Like the park was the emptiest I've ever seen it. There were no lines for anything. Very short lines. Is it because the price is just too expensive? Is that what?
Yeah.
just
That's why
aren't going?
I live an hour away. Do you think I can't afford to go to Disneyland? Come on. I think that's kind of everybody right now.
Yeah.
It's $89 a day for
Wow.
3 days, but you have to sign for 3 days if you're a Southern California resident.
And buy them like a month in advance, right?
Yeah, you have to do this way early. There's the days of rolling up to ye old Disneyland or California Adventure, just buying a ticket are like gone, like super gone. So I don't know.
Well, I'll throw $20. And we're gonna start a GoFundMe to get Aaron and Jamie to go see.
That's half the gas to get there.
Yeah.
Honestly,
That's
the gas is $14 a half a gallon in LA. My God, I don't know how. Every time I think maybe I should move out to LA because I go to so many events. I do this, I do that. I'm like, you know what though? No. So All right. Well, Rogers the Musical, you can find more of that on the Phase Zero channel on YouTube if you're in Anaheim area and have like, I think it's like $180 if you want to go the day before, if you decide the day before you want to go. It's crazy, the prices. But yeah, it's playing for like another week. And before we wrap up today's show, attention Applebee's, we got a birthday in the house.
Anniversary birthday, I don't know what we're gonna call it, but yeah, She-Hulk premiered 1 week ago or 1 year ago last week. I had my whole little post about the premiere anniversary because that was still amazing. But Aaron actually wanted to talk about this because just the show's place in the MCU, so take it away.
So I've been trying to do these little feature things called a comic book water cooler about different topics as we move towards long form stuff, because we still are in these strikes and the movies and TVs will dry up at some point. We'll be doing Shadow Puppet Phase Zero, where we break down shadow puppets here in about a month. But I wanted to say that I wanted to like pose the question to our panel where Secret Invasion had such conversation about it, but it was not all positive. In fact, mostly positive. And it made people kind of reevaluate She-Hulk and some of the earlier Disney Plus shows in relation to it. So I wanted to ask, did you think about She-Hulk differently after some of the other Disney Plus shows we've gotten? Because I saw a lot of people being like, you know what? I gave that a really hard time, but at least it made consistent all the way through, which, I mean, is someone's opinion, but still, what do you guys think?
I know I brought this up when we talked about the Secret Invasion finale of just like it kind of proved the She-Hulk finale right, of doing all of the big boisterous like blood stealing stuff. It was all very similar to what She-Hulk's finale almost was. I'm always a defender of this show. I always think like this show was the best show it could have been for Jennifer Walters. So I still love the show and that hasn't changed, but I am glad that like the conversation, people are kind of the meme of Thanos of like, oh, perhaps I treated you a little too harshly. So I'm glad that conversation's happening.
I haven't thought very. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, I mean, it didn't change anything for me because, like Jenna, I loved that show. It's very high on my overall MCU ranking. I think it's awesome. I didn't realize people were having a She-Hulk assance because I'm not on Twitter and I don't like. I didn't realize that was even a thing now. But good. I think a lot of the harshness that came from that was rooted in sexism anyway. But it is funny that like what She-Hulk was making fun of in the finale, Secret Invasion just did, and I think like, are you not talking to each other?
Yeah.
So good. If people are appreciating She-Hulk more now, awesome. Love to hear it. Welcome to the party, pal.
I haven't thought too much about She-Hulk, but I haven't thought much about most of the Disney Plus shows after they end anyway, with a few exceptions like WandaVision and Loki. I don't really think too much about Moon Knight anymore. I know, Layla, I'm so sorry.
Jim just felt a shiver down his spine because he said
we
that.
give it everybody
But, I mean,
heart attacks.
Hey, looking back at it, I mean, I always did like I liked She-Hulk. I just thought it ended up getting it didn't end up kind of having the arc I thought it was going to. And I thought just like all the rest of the Disney Plus shows, it had the kind of finale that was like, well, here's a big thing that's out of nowhere, even though it acknowledged it. So I don't know. I always thought She-Hulk was pretty clever and I enjoyed it. But I can't really say it's gone higher or lower in my rankings or opinion of it in the time since. I just think it's kind of been. I think there's just been so much Marvel stuff that has She-Hulk is certainly. I'll give the one thing I have to give She-Hulk, even especially after Secret Invasion, is that there's only one show I could say is even close to it from Marvel that is even close to how unique it is by comparison to the rest of the MCU stuff. Only WandaVision and She-Hulk really have something crazy unique about them. Loki's unique in his visual style. Kate Herron did a really good job of creating kind of a tone through the visuals and the colors of that show. But WandaVision and She-Hulk, just as a format, were really unique. And that, looking back, I really appreciate that they did that. I think they did a brilliant job of that on She-Hulk as well.
I think it's really interesting too that they're the two shows that most mimic television,
Mm-hmm.
and then
Yeah,
the reception to them are wow. Oh,
well,
look,
because
a
the rest
TV
are
show.
just fucking kind of slightly longer movies broken up into 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Like you look at Secret Invasion, the first two episodes were almost an hour. After that, a couple of them like, what is this? 3.5 hours of content total from Secret. If you cut the credits off of each episode of Secret Invasion, how much? If I was going to say this on the show, I would have. If I knew I was going to say this, I would have calculated it. But I bet you the runtime of Secret Invasion total without credits is quite close to that of Avengers Endgame.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much all because I've done this math many times. Most of the shows are about the equivalent of watching Infinity War and Endgame back to back.
Okay.
That's some give or take a little, but that is pretty because I've been, you know me, I love to binge them in one
Like
sitting.
5 hours.
Yeah, they're usually about 5 hours, give or take a little bit, because WandaVision's long. 9 episodes.
9 episodes.
Yeah.
But some of them are shorter.
One
but
of
they
a couple
do
20-something minute episodes, though. Yeah.
So She-Hulk is shorter, but on average, it is about the same as watching those two movies back to back.
I need Jamie Dirac measaments for all activities I do.
Yeah.
Like how many Marvel movies is going to the laundromat, you know?
That's my math. Like that's how I deal with math. Ever since I was a
Americans will
kid.
use anything but the metric system.
That's right.
I will say, to the point of WandaVision and She-Hulk being the most TV, like that is why I've grown increasingly excited about Agatha, because I feel like that has the potential to tap into the idea of being a TV show and not just being a really long movie. I hope I'm proven right. Obviously, we haven't seen any footage, but like I hope that ends up being the
Isn't
case.
Agatha's maybe 9 episodes too?
Yeah, and just knowing, like, following WandaVision, I feel like and like the cast and everything, I feel like they're going to lean into kind of the theatrics of television. I hope so, at least.
If you could take one MCU show and make it a movie, it's like 2 hour, less than 2.5 hours long, but it's a movie instead of a Disney Plus show. What show do you think would have been a good movie?
Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
Doing a movie.
Or Secret
I
Invasion.
think so,
And Secret
too.
Invasion. Those are the two.
Well,
Those
no.
both-
It's got to be a similar story. Like you can't. I'm not Secret Invasion as a movie event. Absolutely, 100%.
No.
I just mean like
cut
you could recut even what we got of Secret Invasion into a movie. Like you could do the Topher
Right,
Grace
okay.
kind of cut, and it would probably still work. But definitely Falcon and Winter Soldier would work the most as a movie.
In my brain, I wish they had gave Kamala a movie before the Marvels, because I think people are going to be really surprised.
Yeah.
Like when people are like, what's up with this girl? You're going to get all these other people who do not dominate this geek space like us, the varieties and other places. They're going to be like, this girl they cast Miss Marvel is really fun. And I'm like, yes, if you had watched the show, you would know Amon Velati's
Miss Marvel was
like,
good,
but-
man. She's
Miss
great.
Marvel-
Amon Velati's so good.
Miss Marvel's another one that more so than some felt like a TV show.
Mhm.
Not as much as WandaVision or She-Hulk, but it did have more TV elements, I think.
Yo, Layla heard me slander Moon Knight for a
Yeah, it
moment
just
there.
appeared.
And just
She
popped
had
up in
no
the
idea.
comments.
We could have gone the rest of the episode without her knowing that, and you had to bring
Wow.
that up just as she joined the chat.
That's just we rang that Moon Knight bell, and across the pond, she said, "I gotta click in." I personally, I liked it as a show, but I would like to think about what Hawkeye could have been like as a movie.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
Could have been fun.
No.
Moon.
Hawkeye's I love Hawkeye so much as it is. I don't want any less of what we got.
That's fair. That's fair. Hawkeye was really good. Hawkeye felt like it needed all those episodes. I just wish these shows would either be full hour episodes
Mhm.
or 9 to 12 episodes each time. But hey, Ahsoka's about to do a 9-episode run with us, so that's good. That's good. All right, y'all. Well, that's our Phase Zero for today. Aaron, you're at the top of the screen. Anything you want to
it's-
say to the people?
At Summit Lake Hornet. Thank you guys for watching and listening. We get more and more tags. Like some people literally just sending us the intro music as they're getting pumped up for their day, or like listening to us in traffic, and that is always
Mhm.
encouraged. Also, I forget the listener's name who's listening with their like newborn, and I was like, do not let this baby's first things that they hear be my freaking voice. That is weird. That is
On the
strange, but
iPad,
thank you.
right?
Yes, on the iPad.
Raising the iPad baby to the sweet, sultry sounds of Aaron Marine. Jenna,
Just like that baby's also being raised on Beatty's like remix of the theme song, so that
poor
baby's gonna
child.
grow up right.
Poor
Um,
child.
It's at Hey It's Jenna Lynn on whatever social media platforms may or may not exist in the next week. Go read some comics. There are some really, really great comics out this week. And go watch Riverdale. The finale airs tonight, and I'm very, very excited for it. So if you have not caught up on that show, the last season in particular has been excellent. So go watch it.
Jamie,
Oh boy, at Jamie Jirek on Instagram, Letterboxd, and TikTok. I'm a TikToking fiend. I'm reacting to rebels in weird ways. I'm ranting about things that aren't Marvel related. So if you want to check those out, follow me on TikTok.
and I will wrap it up on call somebody in your friends or family. Tell them you love them. Tell them you're proud of them. I bet it'll be the best part of yours and their day. Do that today, everybody, and hope it goes well for you. Thanks for subscribing to our Phase Zero channel. Leave a 5-star review. We'll see you in a week for more marvelous conversations. See you there.